All right, you've been there, right? You're maybe a few weeks, even a month into a new habit. You're eating clean, you finally quit smoking, you're actually waking up early, and you feel amazing. Like you've actually done it, you've won. And then, one bad day. That's all it takes. And that old habit, it doesn't just knock on the door, it kicks the door down, it comes roaring back, and it is intense. You don't just slip up, you go all in. So today, we're going to get into the neuroscience of why it is so hard to break a bad habit. And here's the thing, it has nothing to do with your character. It's all about the wiring in your brain. Let's get into it.
And this quote? This is everything. That crazy, intense urge that pulls you back. That's not you being weak. It's not some deep flaw in who you are. No, it's a totally predictable biological process. It's basically a distress signal from the oldest part of your brain, and it's fighting like heck to hold on to a pathway it knows, a pathway it trusts. This isn't a moral failure, it's a mechanical one. And once you understand the machine, well, you can start to learn how to drive it.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by talking about that biological temper tantrum. Then we'll dig into something I call the relapse trap. After that, we'll actually map out the brain's ghost highway, look at why it's even there in the first place, and then the good stuff. We'll get into the real strategies for winning this war inside your head. And we'll wrap up with this really cool idea, how to myelinate your future.
Okay, so let's start with that feeling we all know way too well. The feeling that you're making all this amazing progress and then, in just one moment of weakness, it all just falls apart. And you feel like you're right back at square one, maybe even worse than when you started. That, my friends, is the paradox of progress. The very act of trying to change creates this powerful biological pushback. Your brain, it never really forgets the old you. It's just waiting. Waiting for the security guard in your prefrontal cortex to doze off.
This is really the heart of it all. I want you to imagine trying to write something on a computer, but there's no delete key, no backspace. Every single thing you've ever typed is just there, forever. Well, that's your brain when it comes to habits. Every single one is physically carved into your neural pathways. You literally can't erase them. All you can do is try to write new stuff over them, or, build a whole new road right next to the old one. But that old road, it's always going to be there.
So this leads us right into the relapse trap. Have you ever wondered about this? Like, why after months of eating super healthy, just one slice of pizza can kick off a 3-day junk food binge? Or why hearing a certain song or even just turning down a specific street can suddenly bring back an old craving with full force? That's not you going backwards. Neuroscientists have a name for this. It's called neural reawakening. Your success in avoiding the habit has kind of ironically made the whole system way more sensitive. It makes the next urge that much stronger.
To really get why this happens, we have to talk about something called myelination. The easiest way to think about it is like the plastic insulation around an electrical wire. The more you do a habit, the thicker this fatty layer, this myelin, gets around the neural pathway. And that insulation, it makes the signal travel up to 100 times faster. 100! So your old bad habit isn't just some dusty trail in your brain, it's a super fast, multi-lane, fully myelinated superhighway.
And that brings us to this really powerful way of thinking about it. The fence versus highway metaphor. Your new habit, the one you want, it's running out of your prefrontal cortex. That's the logical thinking part of your brain. It's like you're building a new dirt road by hand. It takes a ton of energy and focus. It's basically a temporary fence. But the old habit? Oh, that lives deep in the basal ganglia, the ancient automatic hardware of your brain. It's myelinated, it's fast, and it's not a fence. It is a permanent, paved, 8-lane superhighway. Now that prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain building that new road and holding up that fence, it runs like a battery. It needs energy from stuff like good sleep and glucose. So what happens when you're stressed out, exhausted, or just really emotional? That battery drains, and the fence comes crashing down. And your brain, which is always looking for the easiest, most efficient way to get some relief, it sees that big, beautiful, myelinated highway and basically says, hey, that looks like the fastest way home. Let's go.
The thing is, this whole experience, it's not random. Not at all. It's actually a predictable, mappable circuit inside your brain. Scientists call it the extinction reinstatement circuit. I like to call it the ghost highway. And once you understand how it works, you can see a relapse coming. It's not a surprise attack anymore. It's more like a weather pattern that you can see on the radar and actually prepare for. It takes all the mystery out of it.
Okay, so let's walk through these 4 stages. First up, you've got the inhibition phase. This is you running on pure willpower. You feel great, you're in control, you think, I'm fixed. Then you slide into the dormancy state. The habit seems to just go away. It gets quiet. But, and this is the sneaky part, your brain is secretly taking notes. It's logging all the cues, the time of day, how you're feeling, where you are, all the stuff associated with that old habit. Then one of those cues pops up and bam, you hit the extinction burst. Your brain's internal alarm system basically goes nuts. It senses what it calls a reward gap and it just starts screaming, hey, something's wrong. We're supposed to be getting a hit of dopamine right now. Turn up the pressure. Which leads finally to spontaneous recovery. Under all that intense pressure, your logical brain just checks out. It goes offline. And your brain does what it's designed to do. It takes the path of least resistance, that old, super fast, myelinated highway.
I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? When you relapse, it's not this gentle slide back into old patterns. That extinction burst makes sure that when the habit comes back, it comes back with a vengeance. Your brain genuinely thinks it's saving you from some kind of dopamine drought. It feels like it has to make up for lost time. You're not having a failure of character, you're having a system failure. The logical software just ran out of battery, and the ancient hardware took over.
So that takes us from what is happening to why it's happening. I mean, why on earth is our brain wired this way? Why would evolution give us a system that seems to actively sabotage our own self-improvement? Well, the answer is in a concept called predictive homeostasis, and it's all about one thing: survival.
Let's just sit with that question for a second. It sounds crazy, right? A brain that fights against positive change? But if you look at it from an evolutionary point of view, this resistance actually makes perfect sense, even if it's kind of outdated now. See, your brain isn't optimized for happiness in the modern world. It's optimized for survival back on the savannah.
You have to remember, for almost all of human history, trying something new could get you killed. That new berry you found could be poison. That new path through the woods could lead straight to a predator. So our brains develop this incredibly strong bias. It will always choose the certain known path over the new unknown one. If a habit kept you alive yesterday, even a habit that's totally destructive today, like stress eating, your brain treats that habit like it's sacred. It's a proven survival strategy.
So your brain is running on this ancient operating system with a very clear set of priorities. It chooses reflex over reflection because, hey, it's faster. It chooses persistence over deletion because erasing a map that once led to safety is just too risky. It wants backup plans. So it's treating your habit of scrolling on your phone with the same life-or-death seriousness as remembering where the only water source was in the desert. In the wild, forgetting that meant you died. And that is why your brain has no delete key.
Okay, so we get the problem, we get the mechanics, we even get the ancient history. And I know, that can sound a little hopeless. But knowing this stuff is where the power is, because now we can shift from just understanding the problem to actually managing it. To win this war, you gotta stop thinking like a soldier who just relies on willpower and start thinking like a city engineer who manages infrastructure. This right here is the mental flip that changes the entire game. You can't blow up the old highway. It's a permanent fixture in your brain's landscape, but you don't have to drive on it. Real control, real agency starts the moment you can see that urge for what it really is, just the signal from an old road, and you consciously choose to take the new path. Even if it's slower, even if it takes more effort at first.
So here's our practical toolkit. First up, burst awareness. When that massive urge hits, you don't say, oh no, I'm failing. You say, okay, this is the extinction burst. This is proof the old circuit is dying. Just labeling it brings your logical brain back online. Second, context switching. Change your environment so you're not seeing the cues. Third, if-then scripts. Make a plan beforehand. If I feel the urge to do X, then I will immediately do Y. It's like building a manual off-ramp from the old highway. And finally, dopamine bridging. You gotta bribe the new habit a little. Give yourself a small, immediate reward for doing the new thing. It helps teach your brain that, hey, this new road leads to good stuff too.
And that brings us to the end. And honestly, this is the most powerful way to reframe this entire struggle. We always think the hardest part of any journey is the beginning, right? But when it comes to rewiring our brains, sometimes the hardest part is that final mile of the old road, that moment when the old habit makes its last desperate stand.
Please let this one sink in. That massive extinction burst, that moment where you feel like a complete and utter failure, it is not a sign of failure. It is neurological proof of your success. It means you've starved that old pathway so much that its dying scream is the loudest sound in the whole system. It's the final protest of a circuit that's being replaced. That transforms a moment of absolute crisis into a moment of confirmation.
So shift your focus. Stop fighting the old highway. Stop feeling guilty about it. It's gonna be there. Instead, pour all of your energy into building the new road.
Every single time you choose the new behavior, you are laying down another thin layer of myelin on that new path. You're making it a little faster, a little smoother, a little more automatic. Don't fight the past. Put all of your energy into myelinating the future.